Hey guys, welcome back to my regular subscribers, and to those of you that haven't watched one of my comparison videos before. It's not massively scientific, but it gives you some information to base a decision upon if you're trying to decide which is worthwhile. In this case, on the left, the brand spanking new Pixel XL, and on the right, the not so brand spanking new Nexus 6P in a funky yellow skin. We'll look at the specifications. The Pixel XL has the Snapdragon 821, has a quad-core CPU, 2 times 2.15 GHz and 2 times 1.6 GHz cryo CPUs. The GPU is the Adreno 530 and it has 4 GB of RAM. On the right, the 6P has the Snapdragon 810, has an octa-core CPU, 4 times 1.55 GHz and 4 times 2.0 GHz, both of them Cortex CPUs. It then has the Adreno 430 GPU and 3 GB of RAM. So actually quite interesting comparison just spec-wise, quad-core versus octa-core. The old Snapdragon versus the new, and obviously the same with the GPUs and the extra gig of RAM on the Pixel XL. How much difference will it make? So we'll kick things off with a fingerprint sensor test. I shall try and press them both at the same time. Pretty evenly matched on the first run. We'll do 3, I think. It is easier when they're both on the back in the same place and both function the same way. And we see there actually the Pixel XL definitely the quicker of the two on the second attempt. Give it one more. Yeah, so the Pixel XL is quicker than the 6P. Obviously not a lot in it. And again, if you're watching this for the first time, you'll be like a lot of the tests I do thinking there really isn't that much difference. Why are you bothering? But you know, it's just some of them are real world examples. Some of them are we do a bit of benchmarking and things like that. And in this case, you would argue it's a real world example. Open up Angry Birds 2. And actually, the 6P quite comfortably getting the win. The Pixel XL seemingly almost struggling a bit to open. Well, not struggling, but a bit of a distance behind. Just to check, we will run it a second time. Not quite sure also why the XL thought it was the other way up, but not a problem. We'll kick off again, and it looks like they're both the same way round. The 6P has the early lead again. Although looking at the progress bar, they're both... No. Oh, it does look like it might be closer this time. The 6P is there. The XL catching up. I could go on for hours and see if the XL overtake. I'm not going to. You'll be glad to hear. So, the 6P this time losing its orientation. So this time Geekbench 3. Geekbench 4 is out, but they've kind of changed how they do the scoring, and I want to be able to compare to all my previous tests. So I've got all the APK. I guess I'll just have to keep hold of that and keep installing it and telling it not to update. So here we go. I won't obviously make you watch the whole thing. We jump ahead, and the Pixel XL scores 5,214 on the multi-core, which is a respectable score. It's not up there with some of the Samsung devices from this year, which break the 6,000 mark. I never got to test, unfortunately, a Note 7, but I would guess it would be in the same area as the S7 Edge, which was about 6,500, and the 6P comes through with 4,130. So the XL in the benchmark shows its superiority, which is odd after it losing the Angry Birds opening test. We dash outside into the dewy grass for me to try and get the timing right. I reset the AGPS state of both of the devices, and then I try and open the app back up at the same time, and the XL has a lock very quickly. The 6P is not far behind. Interestingly, you see how many satellites the Pixel XL can see. Is that 27? And it's got a lock on 16 of them. So strangely, the 6P, it says, has a more accurate position lock. Is that 4 meters, and the XL 9, but I'm not sure I've seen a device with that many satellites visible to it. So again, clearly some good tech in the XL for the GPS. We're going to come back indoors to test the screen. So I turn off adaptive brightness on both devices, and we're going to crank brightness right the way up to the top. So this should be as bright as the screen is going to get. Then we're going to open up a white, it's a white JPEG. I want a perfectly white screen. I grab my light meter, which I think this is basically lumens. It says lux, but I think it's basically lumens. So we see it touching 806 there, 805. So it's interesting. It does seem to get not as bright near the top, but then similar there with the 6p. 6p kind of just breaking through the 600, 626 the best perhaps. Oh, I've missed off. That was an 808 though, I can tell you. So the XL definitely with the brighter screen. So let's move on to speakers. We'll start off with some music.
Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me where to go, tell me what to do. I'll be right there for you. Tell me what to say, no matter if it's true. Tell me what to say, no matter if it's true. I'll say.
But I think a light bulb just lit up in my conscience. What about them rhymes I've been jotting? They're kinda giving me confidence instead of trying to escape through my. Kinda giving me confidence instead of trying to escape my comics through my comics. Why don't I just blast a little something?
I've not had the 6p outflow. Well, I forgot how amazing the speakers are on that. Almost an unfair test. Let's try it though with a spoken voice.
Essentially gave organizations like GCHQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance. It also overturned a lot of the rules. Essentially gave organizations like GCHQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance. It also overturned a lot of the rules and laws. And now we're in the situation where people are clamoring for laws. And now we're in the situation where people are clamoring for the.
And search engine providers are being overwhelmed, quite frankly, with inquiries about various use cases, who the users are, and the government's trying.
The spoken voice, it seems to be more of a level playing field. They seem quite similar actually. I don't know how it sounds on the camera, how it's coming through, but the Pixel XL does kind of gain back some of its credibility there. The 6p you've got to give it for the speakers, definitely very good sounding. But we'll move on to the Chrome browser test. So I clear all history from both browsers. We're going to start off the first website of 3. I'm going to try and tap them both at the same time. You can't get a lot closer than that, can you? I mean, maybe the 6p edged through. I think that the continue thing probably came up a little quicker. We'll move on to the second site, see if NFL.com can separate the two devices. Maybe not. Again, the 6p does, I think you'd have to say that was quicker to load everything in. They are both on the exact same Wi-Fi network, I should point out. Some people seem to have issue that one's got a SIM card in, one hasn't. It doesn't matter when you've got, oh, they're actually still loading. When they're both connected to Wi-Fi, it doesn't even try and use the SIM for data, so kind of irrelevant. We'll go to the last website, The Verge. And again, I think I'm tapping at the same time. You have to give it to the 6p. I mean, there is literally almost nothing in. And again, you might be watching this as a Pixel, and I'm the Pixel. I'm going to keep using the Pixel. And I'm not thinking, oh my God, my browser's so slow. They're actually both still loading. It does take a long time to finish off the last bits, although they appear to load in very quick. I don't know, maybe it's loading all the stuff down below. Still loading. And they're both scroll smooth. Actually, the Pixel, the 6p, a little jerky with its slow scrolling there. But there we go. Interesting test actually. I think you have to give credit to the 6p of how well it actually does for a year-old device, and at the price. I mean, I'll be selling mine soon. I think it's worth about $350 perhaps. I paid $819 for the Pixel XL on the left. There isn't really that much difference between them, and you do get the whole factor of the kind of the diminishing returns when you get up near the top end of things. But is it really worth that much more? Well, that's for you to decide, I suppose. It's a lot about design and aesthetics, and as well as the actual performance, which is a very personal thing. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.